I am so glad Chris Hemsworth doesn't take himself too seriously, because I think this is one of the best Thor movies yet. Thor Love and Thunder. About a week late for reasons. um, First off, let me start by saying Chris Hemsworth is the definitive Thor. He's both deep and shallow. He shows his pain, but he also is okay with playing the buffoon, much to the chagrin of his peers. But when the situation really calls for it, he steps up and is a true hero. Natalie Portman is great as female Thor, or Mighty Thor as she prefers. She is a true hero, not because she's good at smashing stuff and kicking butt, which she is, but because her storyline kind of hits really close to home for my family. And she portrayed such a story with serious respect. She showed her vulnerabilities, but she never stopped fighting to protect the innocent. And honestly, I hope we get to see more of her, despite what some of the story portrays. Because her character, both as Jane Foster and Mighty Thor, is a good role model for really anyone, male or female. Christian Bale was awesome as the villain. There are scenes where he was downright hobgoblin-ish. And yet, at his core, he is a human being who's in terrible pain. And it's so relatable. Especially when he turns to the dark side. After learning certain truths, at least from his perspective. And you don't want to side with him, but you can't help it because he makes some good points. You can't help but agree with him in certain respects. The rest of the cast did awesome. Once again, Taika Waititi as the Rock Dude is funny, heartwarming, a little heartbreaking, and just an all-around good supporting character. The actress that played Valkyrie, she's back, and we get to see some of her vulnerable side, but she also shows leadership qualities that have been sorely lacking in female characters for a long time, but better late than never. Let's see, what else? Oh, Russell Crowe as Zeus. I think this is the most accurate portrayal of Zeus in all of modern history. Because, let's face it, all he cared about was chicks, booze, and only throwing down the lightning when his precious pride was bruised. I can totally see this Zeus sending a bug to bite Pegasus' butt and causing a hero to fall to his apparent demise. And let's just say what happens to Zeus in the movie. Good. Seriously. Everyone else did a fine job. Tons of supporting characters. Some were just background dressing, but even then, they presented themselves very well. We go to a place where all of the apparent pagan deities are living in one spot, including some celestials. You know, those giant six-eyed dudes from the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise, not to mention the Eternals. Yeah, some of those guys are still around. But I couldn't help but notice a certain Carpenter's stepson was absent. I guess that was to avoid really cheesing off the extremely religious types, so they just stuck to pagan deities. But it actually kind of says something that in the Marvelverse, only the pagan deities are present. And while I would have liked to have maybe had an atheist or an agnostic or maybe a Catholic talk to the villain, or maybe the pagan deities, I guess Marvel's not ready to go that far yet, but it does beg a few questions. Visually, this show is awesome, colorful. Definitely comic book come to life. The story overall is one that you can really see yourself in. How far would you go to avenge a dead child? And what would you turn into in order to get that revenge? Is that revenge even worth it then? You would think at 2 hours the film would be too long, but honestly, it flew by. And overall, it was able to balance silly comedy with serious talking points. And if you're a fan of Thor Ragnarok and Guardians of the Galaxy, this film is definitely one worth checking out. And let's just say if you're battling a certain demon whose name begins with C, let's just say one of the characters is worth praying to. Well, maybe not praying to, but looking to for guidance. So yeah, overall, Thor: Love and Thunder was good in my humble opinion. If you prefer the more serious Thor films and the more serious Marvel films, this one might rub you the wrong way. But if you just want a fun romp, then this one's definitely worth skipping church for. No, not really. But seriously, make time to see this movie somehow. This is Mr. J signing out and reminding you, whether you're religious or not, it's always good to find something to believe in. Even if it's seemingly a lost cause.